Some of you might be struggling on how to make a reference sheet. Well, I'm going to show you how to make one, or at least how I make mine. I start making my canvas 1920 by 1080. I prefer to make my main pose, showing off their personality and or hobby. Then adding front and back view, adding the eye shape, mouth, along with the feet paws. If you're planning on getting in or making a fursuit, fleshy, etc., then you want to add a side view. They want to add the head itself to the reference sheet, or make a reference sheet for the head itself if you're planning on making a fursuit, along with their color palette. Adding a color palette helps when getting a commission, so the colors aren't wrong. When you start adding the information, only add very little to the reference sheet itself, mainly important info. Adding too much will make it too busy and hard to see the character, so add the rest in the description. Making the background, you don't want to make it the same color as the character, it only makes it hard to see them. If you want to use a color that's close to them, use a darker or lighter version of that color. For myself, I tend to use the opposite color for the background, unless it's not showing off the character. And details to the background, don't add too much detail to it either. In other words, keep it simple, but do add your watermark to it. I highly suggest in an area that makes it hard to crop out. I usually put it a little over the drawing itself, or you can watermark each drawing you make, but that's up to you to decide. But there you go, that's how I make my reference sheets. I realize this video is too short, and if I speed it up even more to match up the information, I probably will give somebody a seizure, and we don't need that. So here's a Q&A section. I know some of you are wondering why I'm bothering doing this. I don't suffer from seizures myself, but I do have a cousin that does, so I know how bad they get. Alright, now on to the Q&As. These questions are from Silver Fluffy Fennec. You can check out their channel in the description below. How do you choose the layout of your reference sheets? Like I said before, I prefer a pose that shows off their personality and their hobby, along with a front and back view, sometimes a side view as well. Is there a recommended size? The size really doesn't matter as long as you can fit everything in, and don't feel like you're drawing in a small space. But I usually use 1920 by 1080, which is the size you use if you want full screen animations. So if you're not making a reference sheet, now you know what to make your animation in. Should you make a separate Afro and Pharaoh reference sheet, or is it better to combine them into one? I have seen others make a Afro reference sheet, then adding a drawing of their Pharaoh form. But if you have different looks for each form, like clothes that have markings on the back, or anywhere else that you can't see, this includes the Pharaoh form as well, then yes, it makes it less messy, unless you're able to make it look nice and not so messy. Any of you have questions, leave them down below in the comments. But that wraps everything up. See you peeps in the next video. Bye bye! Some of you might be struggling on how to make a reference sheet. Well, I'm going to show you how to make one, or at least how I make mine. I start making my canvas 1920 by 1080. I prefer to make my main pose showing off their personality or hobby. Then add a front and back view, the eye shape, mouth, along with the feet paw. If you're planning on some of you might be struggling on how to make a Some of you might be struggling on making a reference sheet. Well, I'm going to show you how to make one, or at least how I make mine. I start making my canvas 19 by 20 by 1080. I'm talking too fucking fast. Some of you might be struggling on making a reference sheet. Well, I'm going to show you how to make one, or at least how I make mine. I start making my canvas by 19 by making my canvas 1920 by 1080. I prefer to make my main pose showing off their personality and or hobby. Then add a front and back view, adding the eye shape, mouth, along with the feet paw. If you're planning on getting in or making a fursuit, plushie, etc., then you want to add a side view. You may want to add the